This video is brought to you by Drew Laston, the Big Black God, and our good brother, Black Truth United. Make sure you go and give him a follow, as well as check out his B1 Rolodex.
Warning. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
I'm saying I was born black, so I was born a superior being, a superb specimen, if you will, as far as human creations are concerned. So I never wanted to be anything other than that. I wanted to know how other people felt. So I didn't.
But you never thought I want to be that.
No.
Yeah.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear it. If you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description, go to change.org, and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, first and foremost, happy Black History Month. Now, people such as myself and you all, we celebrate Black history every single day. But it is also important that we do have this month too. Why? Because it drives the white supremacists crazy. Because all throughout the month, we're hitting them back to back with Black facts, showing our contributions to this country, and showing our deliberate fight for freedom in this country. Showing who they are as the victimizer, and showing how we built as victims. So family, what I want to do today, I want to show this video that I have. And this video comes from the National Archives of the United States. Okay? And this video is actually showing the process of the March of 1963. So I want to go over that, and then I have a couple of other things I want to go over with you. But first, let's get into this march, because I've been hearing a lot of talk, a lot of nonsense. People talking about they're the new freedom riders, and they're not even citizens of this country. They're the new freedom fighters, but you're not fighting for freedom that you built here. You're fighting to be able to break the law and stay here. You literally broke the law to get into this country. You're a criminal there. And then you continuously break the law by doing things that citizens can't do, like, working without paying taxes, taking payments under the table, things like that. So you wouldn't be a freedom fighter. You would be a freeloader trying to stay in a place where they're freeloading. I just want to make that clear. And then, someone says this is the Mexican civil rights. This is crazy. This is all nonsense. It's nonsense. This ain't no civil rights movement. This is a movement of a bunch of people who have the audacity to think they're owed something in a land they're not even citizens to. See, let's get this straight. Ain't nobody been through the pain we've been through. They wasn't hit with water hoses. They didn't have dogs sicked on them. They wasn't lynched from trees and burnt at the stake. Their children was not used as alligator bait. There wasn't breeding farms for them. They wasn't getting buck broken in order to keep and maintain the power structure. They didn't have idea after idea after idea stolen from them. They haven't had history after history after history stolen from them. Let's not even get into all the patents. So this Black History Month, we're not only going to remind the white supremacists of who we are and our contributions to this country, we're going to remind everyone else who they're not. Because they don't have our contributions to this country. Now let's get into this documentary, family. Let's go here with it. And like I said, this is the march from 1963. And it's from the U.S. National Archives. Okay? So if you guys want to go look it up, you definitely can.
Freedom Now movement, hear me. We are requesting all citizens to move into Washington, to go by plane, by car, bus, any way that you can get there. Walk if necessary. We are pushing for jobs, housing, desegregated schools. This is an urgent request. Please join. Go to Washington.
Negroes want the same things that white citizens possess. All of their rights. They want no reservations. They want complete equality, social, economic, and political. And no force under the sun can stem and block and stop this civil rights revolution which is now underway.
On August 28th, 1963.
Real quick, family, I want y'all to pay very close attention when they pan the room. And I want you to tell me, you're only going to see two races there, singing and talking about being equal. And that's the Black Americans and some of the white Americans. But you don't see anybody else. You don't see no Asians. You don't see no Mexicans. You don't see no one. Just make sure you keep your eyes looking for them, because they damn sure try to say that they march with us and they've always had our backs. Even though the president of LULAC said that the Negroes' problem is not our problem. The Negroes' issues is not our issues. We do not want to ally with them. So they didn't want to align with us. But people want to make it seem like they were. And they did. Forgetting that we have actual footage that's still around till this day.
"200,000 Americans came to Washington to demand complete freedom for everyone. This is the story of that day.
Y'all see one Mexican yet? One Asian? One Indian?
I would investigate. Yeah. Then probably then we could integrate. Yeah. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on,
Wait a second. I mean, I heard that clear as day. Did you guys hear that clear as day, family? Because I could have swore he said, we're all here, black and white, trying to fight for equal rights. I didn't hear, we're all here, black, white, brown, yellow, and whatever's in the town. Did y'all? Because I damn sure didn't. This is straight out of the horse's mouth. Who was actually fighting in this fight? Let's be very clear about that. He didn't call out yellows. He didn't call out brown. And that was another thing. The brother that was speaking right before this clip here, when it was saying that the black man wants everything that the white people get. We want our rights. We want all this stuff. He didn't say nothing about the black and brown want everything. You get what I'm saying? Because we knew exactly how to advocate for ourselves at this time. And the people who were advocating for black Americans made sure that it was for black Americans. But I just found it real interesting. I wanted to say that real quick because he damn sure didn't say black, brown, white, yellow, whatever. He said we're all here, black and white, trying to fight for equal rights.
I would invest again. Yeah. Then probably then we could integrate. Yeah. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on. Well, we are all here, black and white. Yeah. Trying to fight for equal rights. Yeah. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on.
They came from Los Angeles and San Francisco, or about the distance from Moscow to Bombay. They came from Cleveland, from Chicago, or about the distance from Buenos Aires to Rio de Janeiro. They came from Jackson, Mississippi, from Birmingham, Alabama, or about the distance from Johannesburg to Dar es Salaam. By the end of August 1963, in some places of the United States, a Negro could not go to school where he chose, eat where he wished, build his home where it pleased him, or find jobs for which he was qualified. He had been insulted, beaten, jailed, drenched with water, chased by dogs. But he was coming to Washington, he said, to swallow up hatred and love, to overcome violence by peaceful protest. Many people predicted violence. Negro groups trained themselves to overwhelm it. Armed with portable two-way radios, volunteers scattered throughout the march would keep watch. Should violence come then that day, they would call for help. Each man would have a code name. Freedom, equality, justice, jobs.
This is Freedom 2 to Equality 1. This is Freedom 2 to Equality.
The Constitution of the United States guarantees every American the right to protest peaceably. 200,000 Americans then were going to use this right.
So right there, family, one of the things that I want to point out is that we've always had this system of protecting each other, right? So even when I went out and I marched for George Floyd out here in Houston, I found myself taking up the role of the protector. And the reason why is because a lot of these Black Lives Matter cats came out of nowhere. Now the protest actually started grassroots. No Black Lives Matter involved at all. Then all of a sudden, here comes Black Lives Matter, and basically they infiltrated the situation. When doing that, they started doing a bunch of stupid stuff, like throwing bottles and like just doing a bunch of crazy stuff walking down the street. And I would have to tell them, hey, get the hell away from here or else I'm gonna beat you up. Period, point and blank. Period, point and blank. And this is when Sheila Jackson Lee first met me, because she saw me gangbanging on these dudes who was over here acting a fool, and we over here peacefully protesting for our brother who was murdered by the hands of these race soldiers. And she thought she was going to be able to, you know, put her hands on me and, you know, groom your boy. I showed her in that conversation we had walking down that street that I am not a puppet. Because she said, you know, you should be the person leading this meeting. And I told her, no, I'm pretty good in the position that I'm in. And I wasn't the only person that took on that protector role. A lot of the black men who saw what was going on with these disruptors, we all just started taking on that role. We started gangbanging on all of these cats because of the fact we saw what they were doing and what they were trying to do. And I tell you, family, that went away really quick. As soon as we started gangbanging, we started threatening violence to these people who was over here acting a fool. Oh, they got like real quiet real quickly. So I guess that was one of the reasons why she said I should have been leading. But as I told her, I'm comfortable in the position that I'm in because that way I can help protect the people. But then we also got into the reparations conversation, and that's when she kind of realized that I was not who she thought I was, because I actually was going to have her come on to my podcast. She actually goes up to my school all the time, and sometimes I record my podcast. Well, I used to at the time. Sometimes I used to record my podcast at the college. And so I asked her like, hey, would you mind coming to my podcast? I would like to have a conversation with you about reparations. And she was like, before we start talking about who's going to get it, we got to get it passed first. I said, absolutely not. It needs to be solidified. Who is it going to? And it has to be a lineage-based situation before you even start talking about getting it passed. And after that, she was like, okay, well, give me a call. Gave me her card, told me to contact her. And as soon as I tried to contact her, her publicist, our campaign PR person, basically declined to do the interview. So when you see me running up on Sheila Jackson Lee, giving her that everlasting work, it's because I've already been in contact with her. She already told me she was going to actually have this conversation with me. And then she tried to duck and dodge me. So anytime I saw Sheila Jackson Lee, I gave her that everlasting work when it came down to the black grassroots and our fight for reparations, our fight for equality, our fight for equity, our fight to make sure that we would we wouldn't be the permanent underclass of America any longer. And before she went to the grave, I was able to do it one last time. I don't know, maybe that was heavenly ordained. So that before she left this plane, she maybe got reminded of what she probably should have been doing while she was on this plane. Now, I'm not glorifying that or nothing. I'm just being real. But I digress, family. That's what we've always done. And back then, we were just a little bit more savvy with it. And to be honest, we had a lot more organization. You hear these brothers using code names. When we were out there, we wasn't even using walkie-talkies. We were just basically circling the wagon and making sure people were safe. When we came to opposition, the police was there. This is one thing that I can say that I saw at that that protested I really did like. When we got to some opposition, the white folk pushed the black folk out of the way and stood in front of us, locked arms, and walked in front of us and walked through the barricade of the police officers, and the police officers didn't do nothing. So I can say I did like that, but I digress. Let's get back to this, family.
350 years ago, the white man came to America, and 350 years ago, the Negro came to America. The one came as master, the other as slave. 100 years ago, Abraham Lincoln declared as President of the United States that all slaves would henceforward be set free. Now, both black and white Americans were preparing to march to say that a century later, the black man still was not completely free. If I am not free, you are not free. If one man on earth is partly enslaved, the world is not completely free.
Now notice, family. He said the black and the white marched together to say that the black man isn't completely free. Where's Juan? Where's Juan Crow in all of this? I'm asking for a friend. Because the data isn't really giving up what they thought it would for them. Let's continue.
It was every man's duty then to help every other man.
We need 4 people at table 8.
In New York, volunteers worked for 2 days and 2 nights to make lunches for the march. They made 80,000 cheese sandwiches.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday.
Family, I know y'all heard, and if you haven't, you can go find the video. I really didn't want to add that video into this. But I know y'all heard that video of that Latino woman asking if they can sing "We Shall Overcome" for their protest. The blatant disrespect. I said, hell no. Hell to the no. You better sing La Bamba and get the hell up out of here. Get your mariachi band or something going. I don't know what to tell you. But "We Shall Overcome" has nothing to do with a bunch of illegals trying to... This is just ridiculous. Criminals are trying to say, well, we shall overcome one day. Overcome what? The law? See, the difference is we were citizens that wasn't getting treated like citizens. You guys were not citizens. Were never citizens. But yet you broke into the country expected to be treated like citizens. Then you broke more laws by working under the table, not paying taxes, and whatever else you did while you was here. And then when you get caught up and get ready to get shipped out, you want to talk about you shall overcome? What are you overcoming? No justice, no peace? No, the justice is getting you out of this country because you are not a citizen. You're breaking the law. So the justice would be to make sure that you're no longer breaking the law. I just had to say that real quick because they started singing the "We Shall Overcome" and it reminded me of that woman. And I really, really want to slap everybody who think that they can use anything from our history and past to push them or excel them further into the future.
Oh,
You know, it's funny because every white person they're showing, they're not even singing the song. Like, it's just, they got their mouth closed and all the Negroes are singing. Okay, I'll take that back. That white lady back there, she's singing. She's getting it in. So is that white girl. Okay, all right. We're gonna call a spade a spade. I ain't gonna front. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, we finally got one, ladies and gentlemen. We finally caught one. We got an Asian in there. All right, all right. We'll give the Asians a point, just a small point. 1 point for, you know, the one Asian that's there. That's what we'll do for that. But it doesn't fit for the overall. Because the majority of the people who's there are still just black and white. But shout out to Lin Lu or whatever, you know, for being there. Give her that much. I do believe we shall overcome. I'm sorry, family. I know that's irritating. I'm not gonna do this too much more. But tell me, does this woman look like Oprah to you? The woman on the left here with the glasses. Hold on. Let's get up. Tell me that woman don't look like Oprah in The Color Purple. Am I wrong? Is it just me? All right. I'm just saying it. For a second, I was like, is that Oprah? All right, I digress. Let's go. We shall overcome someday.
Okay, thank you. Get the buttons here for more. Get the buttons here for more.
The pen said, I march for jobs and freedom. Everyone who marched wore one. The 200,000 people who were to march that day were held together by the strength of that pen.
You notice who else you don't see out there, family? You don't see no Puerto Ricans, no Dominicans, no Afro-Latinos. You don't.
This morning, Father, we ask if thou would hear the prayers of thy children everywhere. Those who are burdened down because of conditions here in America, and those who are confused about how they should treat their fellow man. Oh God, we ask for those who have hatred in their heart to touch their hearts right now, Father, and somehow fill their hearts with love. And oh God, make this land in which we live be a land of plenty and a land of righteousness. Oh God, may we recognize this land a land of freedom for every race. Oh Father.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Testing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is an audio test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Have y'all saw anybody else, family? Because I'm still looking around. I'm still looking around, and I'm only seeing white folk and black folk and that one Asian woman. I ain't seen nobody yet. I ain't seen Juan Maria Santano. Where's Hector? Where's Jose? I don't see him.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the night, few people had arrived. Negro leaders feared that their work had failed. Those who did come waited singing.
We are encouraged. We're not going to fight our white brethren with malice, nor are we going to fight them with any falsified stories, nor are we going to fight them with hatred, but we're going to fight them with love. When they hate us, we're going to absorb their hatred in love. When they speak against us, we're going to speak things of love toward them. We're not going to let their hatred turn us around, but we're going to love them on every side.
Yeah, and that didn't really work out. All right, family, so we're going to move on because I think you got the point. You got the gist of it. You can look around this crowd. You don't see anybody but who. So let's be very clear about that. Let's put all that Juan Crow nonsense to the side because it's bull crap. As a matter of fact, let's go here real quick, family. What is Juan Crow? Because John Leguizamo, he would have you believe that this has been a term that's been coined since Jim Crow, when it hasn't. As a matter of fact, the phrase was coined in the early 2000s, late 2000s, 2008. Let's get into this. Jim Crow is a political terminology that was coined by journalist Robert Levetto, and that's your boy right there. It first gained popularity when he used it in an article for The Nation magazine in 2008. Called it Juan Crow, the matrix of laws, social customs, economic institutions, and symbolic systems, enabling the physical and psychological isolation needed to control and exploit undocumented immigrants. Levito utilized the term to criticize immigration enforcement laws by analogizing them to Jim Crow laws, and has since become popular amongst immigration activists. In recent years, the term Juan Crow has also been used to discuss the historical discrimination against Mexican Americans in the United States. And there was no historical discrimination. They wanted to be classified as white. That's what LULAC was fighting for. But they keep trying to compare how the immigration laws affect them to what we had to go through in Jim Crow being citizens. So yeah, we putting all that that Juan Crow crap to bed. Because it's nonsense. Now, I want to go and switch the tempo a little bit. Shout out to our brother Smokey Robinson. I know he went off the deep end this last election, but he's still our elder, and I still love him. Be honest with you. I might not take what he says as high regard when it comes to politics, but when it comes to black people, I do know that he loves us. And that's always been something that we loved about our Motown greats, because, you know, they knew what they were doing it for and who they were doing it for. But I want to go here and let him get his speak on. This is his poem, African American.
I love being black. I love being called black. I love being an American. I love being a black American. But as a black man in this country, I think it's a shame that every few years we get a change of name. Since those first ships arrived here from Africa that came across the sea, there were already black men in this country who were free. And as for those who came over on those terrible boats, they were called nigger and slave and told what to do and how to behave. And then Master started tripping, doing his midnight tipping down to the slave shacks where he forced he and great-great-grandma to be together. And if great-great-grandpa protested, he got tarred and feathered. And at the same time, the black men in the country who were free were mating with the tribes like the Apache and the Cherokee. And as a result of all that, we're a parade of every shade. And in this late day and age, you can be sure there ain't too many of us in this country whose bloodline is pure. But according to a geographical genealogy study published in Time magazine, the black African people were the first on the scene. So for what it's worth, the black African people were the first on earth, and through migration our characteristics started to change and rearrange to adapt to whatever climate we migrated to. And that's how I became me and you became you. So if we're going to go back, let's go all the way back. And if Adam was black and Eve was black, then that kind of makes it a natural fact that everybody in America is an African American. Everybody in Europe is an African European. Everybody in the Orient is an African Asian, and so on and so on. That is, if the origin of man is what we're going to go on. And if one drop of black blood makes you black like they say, then everybody's black anyway. So quit trying to change my identity. I'm already who I was meant to be. I'm a black American born and raised. And Brother James Brown wrote a wonderful phrase. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Because I'm proud to be black. And I ain't never lived in Africa. And because my great-great-granddaddy on my daddy's side did, don't mean I want to go back. Now, I have nothing against Africa. It's where some of the most beautiful places and people in the world are found. But I've been blessed to go a lot of places in this world. And if you ask me where I choose to live, I pick America, hands down. Now, by and by, we were called Negroes. And after a while, that name was banished. Anyway, Negro is just how you say black in Spanish. Then we were called colored, which said everybody's one color or another, and I think it's a shame that we hold that against each other. And it seems like we reverted back to a time when being called black was an insult. Even if it was another black man who said that a fight would result, because we've been so brainwashed that black was wrong, till even the yellow niggas and the black niggas couldn't get along. But then came the 1960s, when we struggled and died to be called equal and black, and we walked with pride with our heads held high and our shoulders pushed back, and black was beautiful. But I guess that wasn't good enough, because now here they come with some other stuff. Who comes up with this shit anyway? Was it one or a group of niggas just sitting around one day? Feeling a little insecure again about being called black, and decided that African American sounded a little more exotic. Well, I think you were being a little more neurotic. It's that same mentality that got Amos and Andy put off there because they were embarrassed about the way the characters spoke. And as a result of that action, a lot of wonderful black actors ended up broke. when we were just laughing and having fun about ourselves. So I say, fuck you if you can't take a joke. You didn't see the Beverly Hillbillies being protested by white folks. And if you think that, of course you think that being called African American sets all black people's minds at ease, since we affectionately call each other nigger, I affectionately say to you, nigga please.
Family, Smokey was delineating before delineation was even a delineation word. I don't want to say before it was a word, before we was even delineating. The only person that was delineated before Smokey was our dear good brother and elder, Dr. Claude Anderson, who was telling black Americans the exact same thing. And I love the way he said, who comes up with this anyway? Was it a bunch of group of people sitting around talking one day? Whatever the situation is, every time we solidify who we are, they try to re-solidify us with something else. That's what's happening right now. For the most part, everybody's on code with FBA. For the most part, understanding what it means as a lineage. Now, those who don't, cool. Those who are, cool. Those who want to call themselves a purple dinosaur, cool. But at the end of the day, we're still American freedmen, no matter what you choose to call yourself. That is our legal status. And you got people like Yvette Carnell trying to get over to the OMB and literally change the classification that we already have on the board, so that other people who are descendant of slaves can now be shoehorned into our reparations claim. Whether she knows that or not, that's not my business. That's what's happening. I contacted the OMB earlier today. And now I'm going to send them an email to voice my displeasure of this. I tell people this all the time. I don't care if you want to be called FBA. I don't care if you want to be called ADOS. I don't care if you want to be called Indigenous American. I don't care if you want to be called Moorish American. I don't give a damn if you want to be called a Negro. I don't give a damn what you want. That's a preference, and I'm okay with that. But once you start messing with the legalities that we already have set up, then I have a problem with that. Then I have a problem with that. But let's continue with this, family, and we're gonna, there's a couple more things I want to show you, then we're gonna close this out.
How come I didn't get a chance to vote on who I'd like to be? Who gave you the right to make that decision for me? I ain't under your rule or in your dominion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Now, there are some African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But not a brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago. Even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent, or even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people there wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a purebred daughter or son of them. Your heritage is right here now, no matter what you call yourself or what you say. And a lot of people died to make it that way. And if you think America's the leader on inequality and suffering and grieving, how come there's so many people coming and so few leaving? Rather than all this fine thought with America shit you promoting, if you want to change something, use your privilege. Get to the polls, come and support them. God knows we've earned the right to be called American Americans and be free at last. And rather...
Family, I didn't want to pause that there, but I had to. I had to, family. I just heard a part of the poem that I really did never heard. I've heard this poem so many times, and I have skipped that one part so many times in my mind, apparently. He said, use your power and get out to voting. So even then, Smokey was on the, the plantations. That's just what it is. I just had to say that.
Rather than you moving forward with progress, you're dwelling in the past. We struggled too long, we've come too far. Instead of focusing on who we were, let's be proud of who we are. We're the only people whose name is always a trend. When is this shit gonna end? Look at all the different colors of our skin. Black is not our color, it's our core. It's what we've been living and fighting and dying for. But if you choose to be called African American and that's your preference, then I give you that reference. But I know on this issue I don't stand alone on my own. And if I do, then let me be me. And I'd appreciate it if when you see me, you say, there goes the man who says it loud. I'm black. I'm black. I'm a black American, and I'm proud. Because I love being an American. And I love being black. I love being called black. Yeah, I said it. And I don't take it back.
Salute to our brother Smokey Robinson, man. So now I want to kind of close out with this. When I say they don't understand our pain, they don't understand what we fight for, why Black History is important, and why Black History Month actually fights against the status quo of white supremacy and racism in this country, it's because we continue to put reminders on everyone of what we've been through and how we've been victimized due to their stupidity, due to their hatred, due to them being them. And when I talk about that pain, when I talk about the destruction of our community and how we've been mocked and all this other stuff, people, if you're not from the lineage, they wouldn't understand this here and why it's offensive.
Lord, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Oh, I come from the south, from way down south, where the corn and potatoes used to grow. There's great big elegant pictures show, and my old Kentucky home is a French chateau. Way down south in Dixie, swing low, sweet.
Rico, I think we got something there.
I'll say we have. Carry me home. Oh, I come from the south, from the deep, deep south, where the fields of cotton just die with blight, and the pappy reads Esquire with delight, while my Alabama mammy plays bridge all night. Way down south in Dixie, swinging low, sweet chariot, come on, come on, come on, carry me home. Oh, I come from the south, got this south in my mouth. Uncle Tom's cab's got a new routine, lights across the ice in the limousine, while Simon Legree shakes his tambourine. Way down south in Dixie, swinging low, sweet chariot, swing low, sweet chariot. Listen here, you won't let me speak. Don't you know Swanee River is a dried up creek? Come on and carry me home. La da, la da, ho, 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 da 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 da.
Bravo, bravo.
Yeah, family. That right there was Judy Garland, excuse me. And if you don't recognize this woman, this was the woman who played Alice in Wonderland. I think that was actually how she got the part for Alice in Wonderland. So, no. There are no new freedom riders. No. There are no new freedom fighters. And no. This is not a civil rights issue. This is an issue of law. This is an issue of order. And to say it's any of those things, to say that it is an issue of anything beyond that, is disrespectful to the lineage of this country. It's disrespectful to the lineage of our people. It's disrespectful to the American freedmen and their descendants and their descendants and the blood that was shed on this land for those descendants. Happy Black History Month. And let's continue to be the folks who fight against every single status quo and rip it to shreds. Now, throughout the month, I'm going to be doing different post drops and things like that, celebrating different areas and aspects of our history here, whether in film, whether in science, whether in art. Doesn't matter. But this broadcast, this video, I wanted to make sure we address this. In the words of Blade in the new Deadpool movie, I'ma kind of rephrase what he said. There was only one Freedom Riders, and there's only ever gonna be one Freedom Riders. There was only one Freedom Fighters, and there's only ever going to be one Freedom Fighters. There was only ever one civil rights movement by one group of people, and is only ever going to be by that group of people. And when we sit it out, so does the rest of the world. And with that being said, family and friends, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please make sure you hit that link in the description, go to change.org, and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, we've been the foundation of this country for so long. And we are not like anybody else, and they're not like us. When you remove the foundation from anything, it will fall apart. It will crumble. And everything that we've done in this country is solidified through that foundation. And that's why we have Black History Month. And that's why we use it to remind everybody who we are and who they are. And with that being said, family, the doors of the church are closed. Peace, family.
I know that the government, whatever can't stand us black people, he doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing, us black people going to survive. So fuck everybody. I'm out.